Hello, welcome. You're watching our special broadcast. I'm Dipali Patel. I'm coming to you from our studio, and I have three special guests joining us who delivered a blockbuster in 2023 with Kerala Story, and now they're coming up with a sensitive story, Bastar. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to India Today Television.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'll begin by asking you all why Bastar after Kerala Story.
Uh, the thing is, at the time of Kerala Story, we had both the script was in place because we started the research work on both the subject almost together, and we had an option to start the shooting of Bastar first, but it happens the way that it is. But we were determined to come with both the films back to back. That was for sure.
And for Adah, you played a very hard-hitting role in Kerala Story, and now Bastar. Do you pick these stories consciously?
No, I think it's divine intervention and I'm just meant to do it. I really loved working with Vipul and Sudeep with Kerala Story, and we could bring out a truth that a lot of people didn't know about. Also with Bastar, when I read the script and when I was told what the film was about, I had no idea. So I hope people watch it because it's something that I'm sure a lot of people of us who live in cities who don't live in Bastar don't even know what Bastar is. I have friends of mine who say, Bastar, what is Bastar? Bastar, what is Bastar? Like, you know the Naxal story, you know, but what is Bastar? You don't know. So please come and watch it. And I promise you it will, like in Kerala Story, changed your life after watching the film. This will as well.
And what went into prepping for this role, and how different was it when you were shooting for Kerala Story?
Kerala Story also there was prep, but this prep was so much, it was a lot different. I met the CRPF girls who contribute so much to our force, to the armed forces that are in our country taking care of us. They, you know, for you and me, we have amenities available to us so easily. But for them, they're in the jungle for days, months. You know, imagine crossing a whole river and being in wet clothes, and now in those wet clothes you can't change, you have to stay there, not move, because you could be shot from anywhere if you move. There was a girl who we met who was pregnant, and she didn't tell them that she was pregnant till the 7th month so that she could continue working. So there are people like her who sacrifice their lives for our country, and so yeah, the prep was meeting them all, and of course externally that look that decided. So I look like I've been living in the jungles. The clothes and everything. Because there is a film where there are a lot of characters. It's not just about Neerja Madhur, my character. I'm here representing, I think, all the actors who are in our film. There's a girl who's playing Ratna's role, who's a tribal woman, whose husband is cut up into pieces, and in front of her eyes and in front of her young daughter's eyes, and her son, who's just 16, 17 years old, is taken away to become an Naxalite, forced to, brainwashed and manipulated and convinced that he should become an Naxalite. So there are incidents like that. There's the whole court case also going on in the film. There are so many stories that are happening in this film. So I made it.
But did you all also, get to speak to the local people there, or in real life, did you get to speak to anybody of them for the research of this film?
Yes, Suyukto Dada has been living with this subject for a very, very long time. But even when I came on board, I also visited the place, I met people to understand what we have to show, what is the right site that we need to show. But the most important thing was that when the research was given to me by him, and when I went through the entire research, I saw so many shocking things. For example, the whole nation knows about the 76 Jawans who were butchered in Bastar, and we also know that JNU celebrated it. But in the research, I saw that a 4-month-old baby was hit with iron rod and killed. I saw that 8 kids were snatched from their family, their mothers, and thrown into a fire and burned alive. When I met their people locally, I realized that the roads can't be built in Bastar, otherwise Naxalis would come and shoot you. They can't build schools, they can't build hospitals. And then there is a nexus in the city, intellectual sitting here, trying to portray a narrative where they say that Naxalis work for the government of the villagers. Now, what kind of development is this when you can't allow schools or roads to be built? You can't have, you can't hoist Indian flag in Bastar. That's that's the real situation there. And I mean, every family has to give one kid to them. Otherwise, they will kill the entire family. So imagine the plight of mothers who have to live with this, tragedy of son or daughter being taken away for making into Naxal. Their husbands can be chopped into pieces as Adah just narrated. So how do you live with that kind of tragedy? And who's going to be bothered? Imagine a situation that there is a NHRC report which says that overall in our country, Maowadis have killed 50,000 people in their violence. And the official figure of Kashmir from 1952 till now is 47,000. Whereas Kashmir was for 3 decades a national prime time international debate everywhere. Nobody wants to talk about Bastar. And the gang, the nexus that is operating between cities and the Naxalites who are doing these atrocities there, they are trying to break our nation. They are trying to damage us in every possible way. So it's just not about Bastar. It kind of concerns our entire country. It concerns our youth. And that is why this film was very, very important, that we bring this story to the people of this nation, because they need to know that this is happening right in the center of India and nobody wants to talk about it. It's a very, very dangerous situation.
Absolutely. But also, like you said, that nobody wanted to talk about this story. Did you also have any second thoughts before making this film? That, perhaps it could be, termed as a propaganda film or a controversial film, maybe?
I believe that, the moment I heard both the stories, Kerala story and this, I was clear in my mind that I'm going to make this film come what may. And that's what has been our commitment to both the subjects. Coming to the whole debate about propaganda, what does it mean? I'm asking you genuinely because I don't understand. What do you mean when you say that this particular film is propaganda?
Like you said, that nobody is going to talk about a story like this. They'll talk about other issues, but not this.
Yeah, so then that is their propaganda which we are actually exposing. We are not making a film which is a propaganda film. We are making a story which is absolutely true, absolutely fearless and bold, which is exposing the propaganda of somebody else. And that is why when they don't have any truth on their side, then they attack you by saying, oh, you are a liar, you are propagandist or whatever. The few terms that are hurled at such work. But people see through it. Like for example, in Kerala Story, the number of 32,000 was the reason why the film was called a propaganda.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we made a video on 6th of June and we put it out on YouTube where we have explained the entire number of 32,000. But now, when we put out that video, nobody wanted to debate us. They quietly ran. So if we are a propaganda film, come and make, puncture holes into our 32,000 account. There is a very popular YouTuber who had come and made this whole video saying only 2,200 ka number was put out by the Chief Minister in Assembly. One page, if he would have turned more, he would have found the number to be 7,700. But they chose to not show it. They chose to lie about it. So when we put out that number, not one response came from his side. The person who claims to be the most honest, truthful YouTuber decided to not respond to the truth or not apologize. Oh, it was a mistake of my research team. So then people are smart enough to understand what is a propaganda and what is not a propaganda. In this film, so far, they have not even opposed our trailer or any of the content. Why? Because I believe now they are silenced. They don't have the truth on their side and they don't think they can challenge us on truth in this film like they could not in Kerala Story. So they have kind of shut up. That is the reality. And we are happy about it. So at least nobody is going to say your film was a hit if it is a hit. it was only because it was a controversial film and there was no merit. That argument will be over. So we are very happy that nobody is fighting with us, nobody is saying anything controversial against the film. So we are actually very, very happy. But at the end of the day, this film, according to us, is a very, very important subject for our country.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, what happened is this film is going to expose a large conspiracy of last 55 years. Everybody was scared to talk about it. The kind of what Adah mentioned about that if you waste a flag, you will be cut into 32 pieces, and his wife will be asked to paint the wall with the blood of her husband. So the silence of the people who will be exposed to this film is something that they have accepted, that the word like propaganda will not work here, because we are prepared enough to tell them that this is the truth.
Absolutely. I think Kerala Story also helped you guys to be more vigilant about this film. And Adah, I wanted to know from you because A, why did you say yes to this film, considering how sensitive this story was? And B, how do you switch yourself off when you're not on sets after doing a film like this?
Why I said yes is also because yes, it is a sensitive film. So that's more reason to say yes. So I got picked.
That's your inner calling?
Sort of for a film like this, definitely if it's a true story and it's a sensitive issue, and I'm chosen to probably bring it to the audience and expose the truth. And now everyone will try to hide and will try to say, they will try to discredit. There are a huge population of people who are also supporting it. Kerala Story did that number and became that highest female grossing film and did 300 crores plus because people went to watch it, otherwise it wouldn't have. So I know that there is an audience who wants to watch such films. So for them, yes, I would want to do such films as well. Switching off, yeah, it's tough if you're doing a real film. Also, when you met girls, like we met the CRPF girls, like I told you, when you hear about these tribal women and their plight, as a woman, it's very difficult to switch off completely. You can't, but then I guess that's okay. You should let some stuff affect you. If it doesn't affect you, then that's the problem.
Yeah. And do you resonate with the characters that you've played on screen in personal life?
Resonate? No, I think for me, Neerja Madhavan is a hero. She's so brave and so fearless. I don't think as a girl I would be even half as she is. But she's so aspirational. I think every girl who watches this film will definitely feel that I want to be her, have her guts, have her fearlessness to be able to speak to a politician eye to eye, being okay if you lose your job the next day, standing for the truth, being like we all stand for the truth. I'm standing for the truth when I'm standing with the film, but would I be fearless, so fearless to protect my entire country being on the borders? These women do so much, so I'm waiting for other women also to see it because it's a very aspirational character. With Shalini Unnikrishna and also in Kerala Story resonate, yeah, I can understand the pain of a girl who's taken to Afghanistan, not allowed to use her phone, so things like that. A little bit not, but yeah, that's the one.
And there are a lot of films on Naxals, but how different is your film going to be from the rest of them?
See, in India, most of the time, a film on Naxalite has tried to glorify them, tried to show them as Robin Hoods, tried to show them as people who are trying to build development to the villagers and who are actually fighting against the government to help the villagers. But the reality when we go there and we see that you can't build roads or schools or hospitals or mobile towers or the pipeline for the water will not be allowed to be put, then you start questioning how is it helping the villagers, how is it helping the development of that particular belt. Today, India has a huge thrust on the infrastructure and so many highways and freeways are being built which are truly international. But have you heard of one such road in Bastar? Nobody has, because it's just so difficult to do that. And that is when you realize that there is a narrative that has been built over the years, and this narrative has been built by the intellectuals sitting in the cities. They are more dangerous than actually the Naxals who are picking up guns and fighting. So this film will expose that entire nexus. This film will actually show what is really happening, and in that sense, I think probably this is the first film which is going to be bold enough to show this entire nexus to the country.
The thing is, what is Naxal movement? Or who are the people? Who are the Naxalites? What is how they look, how they eat, how they behave? 99.9% cases, nobody has any idea about it. The way Bastar is, it is like a world city, the place which is surrounded by the densest forest in the world. It's called Abujmar. It's a 5,000 square kilometer forest area where these goons, these men with guns are there. So there is a romantic implore outside. There is a romantic implore that these guys are, they are the gun tottering people with the modern gadgets, modern guns. They roam around inside the jungle. So it has a perception. It used to have a perception that they are the Robin Hoods, they are the heroes. But when you enter inside the forest, which most of the journalists, most of the people from media avoided so far. So one of the journalists from Chhattisgarh was telling us that 76 Jawan been killed. It become a news in Delhi. But every day people are dying. Every day there is a bomb blast. Every day there is a IED a mine blast. It do not become news in our national media. So what we did, the difference is we entered inside the jungle. Not once, not twice, hundreds of times we went inside the jungle. Not only we met them, we heard their stories. We went to meet that female whose husband was cut into 32 pieces. We interviewed that female. First time she spoke about her experience, how she felt. It saddened us that no journalist reached to that lady. We reached there, we heard her story. People who were around her, they narrated their story. And that girl, that female told us what exactly was going through her mind when she picked up the blood of her husband and was painting the wall. So this difference is you will see in our film. We never find at any point of time that these guys are into the romantic journey of saving villagers. They are the Robin Hoods. They are the Tarjans of the jungle. So definitely it has a 100% different from the general perception about the Naxalites.
I would also like to understand from you how long did it take for you to do the research and put the story out? Like, how much time did it take to make this film? Because you said that both the films you were planning on releasing back to back.
Yeah.
So,
But Maoist movement, this Bastar, uh, it is almost like 25, 30 years, maybe more. Me, my writer, we lived with that. Because when and where it started, we also started our journey at the almost same time. And when by the time it reaches Bastar, and by the time the whole movement is shrunk and got confined into the central part of the country, and when we decided to make the film, it is almost like last 20, 25 years. Whenever we get time, we went there, we met people, we documented things. In between, we made a documentary film also. But after meeting Vipulji, after decided to work together, uh, it is almost like 6, 7, 8 years that we started working on the script, and eventually we made the film.
from what you've told me, I think the movie is going to be very heart wrenching, and it was the same with even Kerala Story. One takeaway from both the films after doing, because you three worked on both the films, so one takeaway from both of the films that you've done.
One of the most important thing is that in our country, the human tragedy in these two stories is so epic that, and yet the beauty of one lobby is that they were able to keep it quiet and underground for such a long time. Nobody, I mean, even if people had some idea, nobody had a clue about the real level at which this was operating. Whether it was Kerala Story, whether it is Bastar. when we exposed Kerala Story, there was a sense of disbelief initially. People said, "Oh my God, is this real?" It took some time for people to actually come to terms with it and say, "Yes, this is real. This is actually happening." Bastar is going to be no different, and it's actually a much bigger conspiracy than Kerala Story. It's a much bigger problem in our country than Kerala Story, and when people will see it, it's going to shake them. I mean, when we even narrate this idea to people, they say, "Are you sure this is happening?" Actually, when we show them the documents or the video interviews taken, and then they are like in tears just seeing the plight of a mother, the plight of a wife, of ordinary woman in Bastar, millions of them suffering. So I think there is going to be a sense of shock, and there is going to be a sense of disbelief in the beginning, and then it will start dawning upon them that actually this is happening, and this film is going to bring this side of Naxalism for the first time, I think, in Indian cinema. And after this, I hope that this subject becomes part of a national debate, and a permanent solution to this Naxal problem is reached at some point of time. And for that solution, our film becomes the first step. I would feel that we've done an incredible job. Okay.
My takeaway from it would be, firstly, immense gratitude. Definitely would be to have a film like Adah Story. I think the biggest takeaway would be, like, the audience always says, "Why don't you make more films like the Adah Story?" And now there's one coming in less than a year. So I hope they watch it, and the decision's always in the audience hands, I think. Because a film like Kerala Story, a lot was trying to suppress it and not have it released and everything. And I'm sure the same thing will happen for Bastar as well. So my takeaway would probably be, I hope that they get to watch it finally in theatres, and just gratitude.
And my takeaway is there is a perception that to make a film super hit, blockbuster, you need songs, music, Gujarati and Punjabi shadi. But I think truth has such power that you can make 10 crore people to take to the cinema hall and sit in front of OTT and earn 300 crore. So
Absolutely.
my takeaway is tell truth, show the truth, and you will be the winner.
Absolutely. What can we expect from the three of you after this?
A good break for sure, because mentally it's been draining making two films back to back, and this film to complete in 9 months of Kerala Stories release hasn't been easy. You want mentally to be ready for the next challenge, so you want your mind to be fresh and ready. So a little break, but immediately something equally important if we will start working on. There are some plans, but everything will have to wait for this film's outcome and a little break, and after that we'll pick up the threads from where we started this journey and maybe take it to another milestone.
I think it's their decision. I hope they call me when they decide to make the next one. Because even this one, I thought it was so cool of them to have your fearless cop in the film, who's your protagonist, as a girl who's taking it forward, who's in charge. And they cast me as a victim in one, as a savior in the other. So I'm hoping whatever they're casting, if you're casting a horse as the protagonist in your next one, you take me and you say we'll make her look like a horse. And I will definitely want to be part of whatever they're doing, because I think working with nice people, bringing out true stories to the audience is very nice to me.
Uh, the thing is, this kind of films like Kerala Story or Bastar takes a huge toll on many things, on your mind, on your, even for the families. When we go out for the shoot or when the film gets released, family gets worried. Whenever there is a threat, a discussion in television channel, and my phone is out of charge, they start thinking the worst
Case
thing.
scenario.
So it takes a lot of emotional toll, not only to me, not only to us, but also our families.
Yeah.
So, but there are many such stories like Kerala Story or Bastar to be told. And if we are vindicated in Kerala Story and going to be vindicated in Bastar, So it enhanced our responsibility also. So definitely we'll look for some new ideas, new work, and we'll not sit ideally. Take some rest, come back.
Well, on that note,
Thank you.
we wish you all the best for Bastar.
Thank you so
I
much.
hope the message that you're trying to give out to the people is there, and all the best for your future projects as well. And we would like to see you three again after Bastar.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.